The argument from complexity, what did you call it? The something?
The teleological argument.
That's
Telos
it.
is a word meaning design or purpose, yes.
That, as well as the cosmological argument, they're great arguments for deism, showing that there has to have been some sort of cause. But all it boils down to is an argument from ignorance, which, as you probably well know, is a logical fallacy.
In this video, we're looking at this young atheist who is repeating basically all the arguments of the atheistic faith. Because many of you that claim to be atheists, you don't like to call what you are faith, but atheism is actually largely built on faith. There's no proof of it anywhere. And another thing about atheists is that they like to say it's not faith-based, but when you say explain, they say they don't have to explain. They don't have to give evidence for their side, which is contrary to what they're asking. They want you to give evidence, but they don't want to give evidence. If you say there is God, and I say there is no God, two of us have to produce evidence, but an atheist says he doesn't need to produce evidence. So in this short video, we are going to see how Frank tackles all these objections that these atheists have. Please enjoy.
You're saying, I don't know how this came to be, therefore we're going to accept this statement. So you really can't be intellectually honest if you're saying, from a philosophical standpoint or even a scientific standpoint, that this is proof that a God exists, because you're simply saying, I don't know, and then jumping to, well,
okay,
it must be this.
You're saying that this is a God of the gaps argument. That's what you're trying to say. Okay,
exactly.
That's not what we're saying. Let me give you just 2 minutes on this. You see this? This is an amoeba, something the Darwinists say we all evolved from. And notice
an ancestor of the amoeba.
Yeah. Now notice it doesn't say made by Yahweh or made by natural forces on it, right?
Yes.
So always the scientist is going to have to make an interpretation. In other words, science doesn't say anything. Scientists do. But this was considered no big deal back in Darwin's day. This was
Damn, that was oof. Science doesn't say anything. Scientists do. Oh my God. Scientists do. I grew up thinking that anything science tell you, that is it. Don't question the science. Until science started to question itself. Until science started to evolve every day. I started realizing that what we even believe today in science, how can we trust it if it is not certain? The only thing they know is what they can observe and see. That's the only thing they know. And they have not observed everything. They have only observed some things. Now, if you now make final conclusions from that, is that not foolishness? It's scientists rather, is what says things. It's scientists that say God doesn't exist. The natural world doesn't say that. The science itself doesn't say that, but the scientists conclude that. Oh, let's continue this video. I love this. I'm already excited.
Considered to be a blob of protoplasm, and maybe natural forces could come together and put this together, and through natural selection we could all be here. There's no need for a designer, in other words. Today we know that that's not the case. In fact, inside of this little amoeba is something that clearly has the marks of design. In order to show you this, I got to take you to your breakfast table. How many people in here like alphabet cereal? Let's suppose you want to have a bowl of alphabet cereal. You're a teenager. You come downstairs to have a bowl of alphabet cereal, and you see that the cereal's knocked over on the table, and right in the middle of the table, the letter spelled, take out the garbage, Mom. What are you going to assume? The cat knocked the box over? Earthquake shook the house? No, you're going to say that that's intelligent design from an intelligent being, Mom. Do we just lack a natural explanation when we see take out the garbage, Mom? Or is that positive evidence for an intelligent being?
Well, in and of itself, it's not evidence for intelligent being. We can make the inference because it's a natural process.
What?
Wait, hold on.
Oh my
What was that?
we can make an inference.
You always make inferences.
Yes.
Are you inferring that an earthquake did this or that Mom did this?
You're inferring that your mom did this because you have evidence of things like this not happening outside of intelligence.
That's exactly the point.
However,
you got it.
With the universe, we only have one universe.
This is hurting my brain. One of the things I've seen about it is that they like to sound intelligent. They are, well, I won't say they are not, but many of them are not, seriously. So is it, doesn't I want to argue? Lord have mercy. Doesn't I want to argue? I can't get this out. Doesn't I want to argue that if he sees something like this, he will say something strange, something without intelligence did it. That's why easy. Oh my God. Without intelligent mind, design doesn't exist. The only reason for a design is because a designer, and the only reason a designer designs something is because of function. In other words, anytime you see a design, it is because there is a function it's about to make, including the brain that the atheist is using to argue. God actually designed it so that they can argue, but not arguing foolishness. Not arguing foolishness. When you see accurate design like the design of the human being, the design of the universe, in fact, the number one argument that is against any kind of atheistic understanding, in my own opinion, is the design of the universe, the teleological argument. It is the number one, because without a designer, there is nothing like design. If all the variables that were to make for the earth to be destroyed, it wasn't destroyed, it still came about, then it shows that there's nothing like that, there's no design. Let's continue this video.
Hold on. I'm not done. Okay,
Okay.
I'm just saying
Okay.
that this is evidence of intelligent design, and you agree with that.
Sure.
Okay. Well, if this is intelligence or evidence of an intelligent design, then DNA must be as well. Because you see, DNA is a message like take out the garbage mom, but in a human being, it's 3 billion letters long. So if something that's 15 letters long requires an intelligence, then something 15 billion letters or 3 billion letters long requires an intelligence. You say, well, maybe it started simpler. Like maybe it started in an amoeba. The problem in an amoeba has 1,000 volumes of an encyclopedia worth of information in it. The simplest code is thousands of volumes long. So if take out the garbage mom shows there must be an intelligent being, then it seems to me that a message much longer also requires an intelligent being. And by the way, it's not me who came up with 1,000 volumes in a microscopic amoeba. It's Richard Dawkins himself.
Woo! I love that part when he said it was Richard Dawkins. You see, one of the things about the atheist is that the average atheist has never gone to the full conclusion of what atheism is. I personally did it. Even as a theist, I forced myself to think as an atheist. What will be the full conclusion if everything an atheist is saying? Number one, even their conclusion is wrong. Do you know why? Because your brain is just a random set of chemicals and electricity and different things. How can you trust that brain that what it's saying is true? It's random. So if I can't even trust the brain that I'm using to argue with you, then what is the point of arguing with you? That is why when he said Richard Dawkins, that alone should silence that guy, because Richard Dawkins have tried his best, but he can never, he just cannot. You cannot fight the truth, sir. You can't. Let's continue the video.
When we infer to design, we are not creating a God of the gaps argument here. We are saying that we have positive evidence for intelligence.
My only problem here is extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Take out the garbage mom isn't all too extraordinary, but an entire universe you're attributing to a creator for which there's no evidence, for which you've said is outside of time, outside of space, isn't made of matter.
Right.
So you're trying to prove what is in its nature
Why is it unprovable? We are using spaceless, timeless, immaterial things right now.
like what?
The laws of logic.
True, but they're conceptual.
They are conceptual, but they're not just conceptual. In other words, they would exist even if no humans existed.
They in and of themselves are conceptual, but for them to be applied, there has to be a physical being, a physical mind to, make the computations and apply the laws of logic.
Well, of course, you have to have a mind to apply the laws of logic, but the laws of logic exist even if no minds existed on the human conceptions. They are grounded in a mind, you're correct. What mind? The immaterial, spaceless, timeless mind. If space, matter, and time had a beginning, what caused it?
I don't know.
Well, you can say I don't know, or you can follow the evidence where it leads. Space, time, matter had a beginning, and the being must also be personal to create, to make a choice to create, must also be intelligence to put this universe together with such precision, must also be moral because we have the moral law, must also be a creator in order to create from nothing and powerful. Those are the attributes of God. Why wouldn't you just accept that?
When you jump to must be personal because we exist.
No, not personal because we exist. Personal because anything exists.
Okay, because he made us the way we are.
No. Personal to go from a state of nothingness to a state of creation. The being had to make a choice. Gravity doesn't make choices, right?
Okay.
So
I'm still not
personal
seeing how
being
it actually lines up logically. It seems like kind of a jump just based on wishful thinking. It all boils down to an argument from ignorance. I don't know.
No.
So this has to be
No. Will, it's not an argument from ignorance. There's positive evidence that a spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, moral, personal, intelligent creator exists. That's what we've been given here.
Just as much evidence that there's a spaceless, immaterial, flying spaghetti monster that exists.
No, because the flying spaghetti monster is a being inside the universe, if he exists at all, made of spaghetti.
But
spaghetti had a beginning. It's
by
material.
His nature, he's outside of the universe. He simply chooses to appear to us in the form of spaghetti.
Well, if you want to call the God of the Bible the flying spaghetti monster, be my guest, but you're not going to find it in the scriptures.
The point is simply that you can't prove something that's immaterial. You can claim to make these blanket statements and just jump from one claim to another, but it's not proof.
Will, what do you mean by proof?
Physical proof.
What does that mean, physical proof? Is the universe not physical?
The universe is...
Ask you a question.
Okay.
Honest answer.
Honest.
If Christianity were true, would you become a Christian?
Well, I have to preface this by saying I would believe it was true if there was evidence for it, but I would not be a Christian.
Why not?
I don't believe a lot of the things that the Bible says to be moral.
So
God bless Frank Turek. He has a patience that I don't even know if I have. One of the things you will see about this young man is that he's not there to listen. He keeps on moving the goalposts. Once there's an answer, he moves the goalposts. Once there's an answer, he moves the goalposts. I love the special part where they spoke to him about logic. How logic is not something we can see, touch. We don't know how it came into being, rather. We don't know who invented logic. Or we know who invented logic, that is the creator of the universe. And we know the only way we can understand or appreciate logic is because we have a mind. What does that tell you about how the universe works? That without a mind, everything you are seeing cannot exist. So in that state, you will see that even the immaterial things can be proven. Even the material things, all these still point to a mind above all minds, a mind above all laws, because every law comes from a mind. Every law comes from a designer. Every law comes from one who wants to set things in motion, who wants to have things a particular way. But you see, these guys cannot comprehend this. And me, I personally believe it's not a matter as much or as logic as much as they say. I think it's more of a matter of their heart. They just refuse to accept God. They just don't want him to be true. Because if it's true, what they know, if it's true, they know that they deserve condemnation. If it's true, they know that they deserve the wrath of God to come upon them. But this is why Jesus came. Because he knows that you deserve condemnation. None of us, including me that is talking, deserves anything good. As much as I claim to be good, most of all, in fact, maybe 95% of my decisions have been selfish. Anytime you see me do good, it's because God is working through me. Not because I'm a good person. What do you mean a good person? The Bible says if you even set yourself on fire, You give all your food to the poor. You do all these things. And the place it comes from is not from God. That thing you are doing is evil. That's why Satan will give people money. But that money, there's poison inside. On the outside, you say this is a good person giving people food, but he's using that food to do evil. What do you mean good? What if that thing that you did for somebody, oh, I want to help this person, and you gave the person money, and from that money, he bought something that killed him? Is that action you did, is it a good action? You will say, it's not my fault, but that action you did is still a bad action. Are you seeing what I'm saying? So we don't even know what is good. That is why we depend on God. We don't depend on anything we can do or any ability that we have. This video is very eye-opening for me. One of the things I say about this, it seems as if the American youths are just rejecting God. But on the other side, there's a revival coming to America. Whether you like it or not, a massive revival is going to come. There's going to be an influx of youth into the churches, and they are going to fight the progressive movement. Let me tell you who is going to defeat the progressive movement. It's not the politicians, sir. It is the youth that are coming. There's going to be a new set of youth that are going to rise and say, I don't care to be cancelled. I don't care about cancel. If you want to cancel me, but I'm going to speak the truth. This is evil. This is wrong. That generation is coming. When that generation comes, you will see the glory of God back in America. Do this page a favor, like, share, and subscribe. And by God's grace, I will see you in the next video. Shalom.